ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, just to close our tabs. Okay. So, as usual, that we will start with Gopala Champu. So, in Gopala Champu, we are reading that Krishna has returned to Vrindavan. After 33 years, he has spent his time in Mathura and Dwaraka. And because he has returned from for after a very long time, the Vrajavasis were in separation, and the separation increased the intensity for their meeting with Krishna. And when they met with Krishna, there's the sambhoga, that is union that has happened, and that union is produced very heightened bliss. So this union and separation, they are two sides of the same coin. Separation from Krishna increases the intensity to meet Krishna, and meeting Krishna increases the intensity in separation that happens later. So both of them nourish each other. The union nourishes the separation nourishes the union. Both of them are part of prema. We should not think that it is part of material emotions. So they had a very huge party in Vraja, and after that, Krishna started performing day-to-day activities. Our Jiva Goswami started describing the day-to-day activities of Krishna. So, um, so Krishna, it was a Janma Nakshatra day for Krishna, and the entire Brajavasis, they celebrated that very nicely. And after that, Krishna went to the forest with the cowherd boys, and then he played around, he herd the cows, and nicely spent time with all the Gopas who are always hankering to associate with Krishna in the forest and satisfy and serve Krishna like that. And Krishna, in the evening, he returned from the forest, and he was being welcomed by all the Vrajavasis who are waiting, who are separated from morning to evening at that time. So they all welcomed Krishna, and Krishna went and took bath. And after taking bath, he went to his bedroom to sleep. So in the bedroom, the two boys, that is Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta, who are bards, they sing about Krishna and they recite about Krishna various verses. So they were present. Along with them, uh, gopis were also present. The main gopi, Radha, she was also present there. So when the two boys, Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta, they are seeing Radha for the first time in their life. When they saw Radha, they developed ecstatic prema, and then they lost their consciousness. So when we are reading this, when we are discussing these pastimes, we should also put our heart into it and empathize with the story in the sense that we put ourselves in those characters and see what is the emotions that they are going through. So when it is said that Snigdhakanta and Madhukanta they met Radha, we can also imagine for the first time when we meet Radha, what will happen. We'll we have seen her as deity form, but first time in person when we meet, what will happen? So by imagining this way, we will be able to develop attraction and affection for Radha and Krishna. So therefore, it is also essential to read the pastimes again and again, and the pastimes of the devotees as well. So through the devotees, we emulate their character, we emulate their emotions, and that nourishes and increases our bhakti for Krishna. So when they saw Radha first time, they lost their consciousness. So Krishna, he dropped everything else and then he went and attended these two boys. Oh, what happened to them? They suddenly fell and then he was fanning them and then taking care of them. They were supposed to serve Krishna, but because they are devotees of Krishna, Krishna has a lot of affection for them. Um, are you able to hear me properly? Once again, my audio settings is good. Okay. All right. I have increased my volume. Sorry about that. So, and when they recovered, they opened their eyes and then they saw Krishna standing there. And then Krishna started gazing at Radha. When they saw this, then they began to think Krishna, who looks like a blue sapphire, and Radha is looking like gold personified, and gold embedded with this blue sapphire. That's a very beautiful jewelry. They are looking like that. And this is Madhurya Rasa, Radha and Krishna together. So then Krishna introduced these two boys to Radha, and Radha were very happy to see these two boys. And then she gave them a lot of gifts. And then they both sent these two boys to back to their father's place dwelling, where Ratnachuda is their father was, or a caretaker was Ratnachuda. So Ratnachuda was living nearby. He was given a separate quarter to live in Krishna's home. So both of these two boys went there because it was night and everybody is going to take rest. So then Krishna was there with all the gopis. And Radha and the other gopis, they started serving Krishna. They were waving chamra for Krishna. And they gave this betel nut for Krishna. And they were giving a seat for Krishna to sit. So in this way, they started serving Krishna in various ways. Now, Radha started feeling shyness because Krishna was there alone and Radharani was there. So, because she was feeling shyness, she went and hid herself. Uh, then all the Sakis were trying to bring Radha again to Krishna. So, the Sakis went and told Radha, "Oh, Radha, when you are not able to see Krishna, you are always longing to see Krishna. But then, as soon as you see him, you are hiding your feelings. Why are you acting in this way contradictory way? Why you're acting? When we are at our home, you're always thinking about Krishna. You want to meet him. You are longing to meet him. You are missing him all the time. But as soon as you come in front of Krishna, you are trying to hide yourself." So then the two main gopis, Lalita and Vishaka, they brought Radha in front of Krishna. So when Krishna saw Radha and Radha saw Krishna, both of them became stunned, paralyzed, internally and externally, like that. What a beauty. They were relishing each other. So, and after that, um, um, uh, Jiva Goswami is concluding this chapter. He is saying that Radha cannot be controlled by Krishna. Krishna is controlled by Radha. However, these actions of both of them are not amazing in the sense of that Krishna is very much attracted to Radha and then he is controlled by Radha, and Radha controls Krishna and she is also very much attracted by Krishna. These activities are not amazing because this is what happens in Madhurya Rasa. And they are, both of them are personifications of Madhurya Rasa. Therefore, they have natural attraction for each other, and naturally, Krishna volunteers himself to be controlled by Radha completely. So, this way, we have completed one chapter in Gopala Champu, which discusses about the return of Krishna from Dwaraka and Mathura, and how Krishna performs from morning to evening, the pastimes, various pastimes, and what happens, and what kind of activities he performs, and then how he interacts with the different people in Vrindavan. Now, here onwards, Jiva Goswami will start describing about the different pastimes that are mentioned in the 10th canto, but from a different angle in the sense, purely looked all of these pastimes from Vrindavan. The sweetness of Vrindavan is pervaded throughout these pastimes. So, from that angle, Jiva Goswami will describe all these pastimes. So, we'll stop here because it is a good point to stop. We will start from the birth of Krishna next week in Gopala Champu. We'll continue to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, so far what we have covered the western and northern sections of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu work is divided into four sections: east, west, north, and south. So we have covered western and northern. The first two sections are east and south, and the last two sections are west and north. So eastern direction, southern direction, western direction, northern direction. We are going clockwise like that. But we have completed western and northern sections, two sections which are describing primary and secondary rasas. Now we are into eastern section, the first section, which describes about bhakti. Uh, and within that, we have discussed the Mangalacharan verses and also the definition of Uttama Bhakti. Now we are looking into the roadmap of Uttama Bhakti, a very practical aspect. This is what we were looking at. This is the roadmap of Uttama Bhakti or pure Bhakti. So, pure Bhakti does not mean only the sadhana stage, sadhya stage, that is prema. Prema is what pure Bhakti we cannot say. The whole path is pure Bhakti. This path, until bhava, it is called sadhana Uttama Bhakti or pure Bhakti in practice. And above that, it is called pure bhakti in perfection, this bhava and prema stage, where the actual love has manifested. Even from the shraddha stage, that is very beginning of our practice of bhakti, we can say that we are practicing pure bhakti, provided we are not appealing to the Lord to ask for material things. We only ask for pleasing Krishna. We only ask for his service more and more. So that is our aim. When we do perform bhakti every day with that attitude, then that is called pure bhakti, pure sadhana bhakti. And the goal is that we will attain Bhagavan, Krishna, in four different rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Now, last time when we discussed about this, we have discussed this Shraddha and Nishta stage, and there was this Anishtita stage we discussed, which was like so huge and so difficult to cross over. It is like climbing a mountain uphill, very difficult to cross over because of a lot of anarthas that we are having in our heart. Once you come to the stage of Nishta, which is a stage you are not affected by lust, greed, anger, anything in your heart, in the sense that they don't bother you anymore. They are there, but they don't control you. You are able to fully tolerate them, and you are able to practice. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, tolerate heat and cold, happiness and distress, all these things. That all of them can start happening from Nishta stage. Before that, it's quite difficult. Yeah, Nishta stage is the top of the mountain. Thank you, Prabhu. It is the top of the mountain. You have reached the top of the mountain. But then you have to walk straight. Walking straight is easier. And then Ruchi, when you get the stage of Ruchi, you got to really taste. Then it is like walking downhill. Even if you don't walk, The gravity force will just push you, and success is going to be um, sure. It's going to come anyways. You will be dragged to success. So this part is what we want to discuss, because most of us will be in this stage and we may be struggling to cross this stage to attain Nishta Bhajana. So we'll be looking into it. How can we attain that? So this is a little bit, I have added more things into the already complicated diagram um, to get to show clarity. So in the Anishtita stage, lot of anarthas are there in our heart. Three kinds of anarthas are there. So here, anarthas that are arising from our past sinful activity. If we perform any sinful activity, it creates samskara in our mind. And that samskara will drag us behind, even when we start practicing bhakti. Suppose I'm a chain smoker previously, and then I came into bhakti. As soon as I came into bhakti, I start practicing bhakti, but because I have created this habit of chain smoking previously, it becomes difficult for me to give up. I need to give it up, but it's so difficult. The previous samskaras, previous sinful activities have created samskaras in my mind, and then that's just a dragging. Those are anarthas from sinful activities. Pious activities also. In the past, I have done a lot of punya activities. So because of those punyas, what I will get? I will get a lot of material facilities. I may get nice home, a nice job where I don't need to work much, and then I will get salary. Or suddenly I'll just invest in some stock, and then suddenly it'll just boom, go up. I get a lot of money without much hard work. All these things are uh, result of my past pious activities. Or I get a nice family. The spouse listens to me, and spouse understands me. Spouse shows affection, love. These are all part of pious activities. If the family life is not good, that is part of sinful activities. So all these things create anarthas in our heart. Why this piety create anarthas in our heart? I may get attached to the facilities I have been given. I want a lot of money. I just want to spend it. As soon as I have a lot of money, I want to spend it. Maybe I'll just um, buy so many things, and I become attached to material things, and I can become attached to food stuff, nice foodstuffs. All these things are anarthas that are arising because of my past pious activities. Then there is anarthas from bhakti practice itself. These anarthas from bhakti practice, um, when I perform bhakti, people will start giving me respect. As I advance in bhakti, naturally people will give respects. We see in our temple, we give a lot of respects to Vaisheshika Prabhu because he has advanced in bhakti. And when we get any Maharajas come, we give a lot of respect. Not because they have a lot of followers or anything, because they have advanced in bhakti, we give respect. And it is natural and it is good for all of us to give respect to devotees who are advanced. But if I get attached to that glorification, respect, then that becomes anarthas. So those are the anarthas which are coming from bhakti practice. Because of my bhakti, I get a lot of opulence. And if I get attached to that, then I get anarthas in my heart. So we'll focus on this first part, anarthas arising from um, past sinful and pious activities. So when we are in the stage of Shraddha, you see the different color shades are given. So before the stage of Shraddha, it is very reddish, very thick. Gross sinful activities people may be doing. What are all the gross sinful activities? Violence to others. Like we may be killing animals. We may eat meat. The person can be a murderer also. No? He may commit very gross sinful activities to others. That's very, very thick and thick red. As soon as this Shraddha comes, something changes. What is Shraddha? Shraddha based on Shastra, the Shastric knowledge. I have full faith on that. Whatever the Shastra says, that is true. That is what is Shraddha. And I have genuine interest in practicing bhakti. That is part of Shraddha. So, as soon as that comes, that arises, then immediately the color changes. You see that? Because I have Shraddha, then I am willing to follow the rules and regulations given in the scripture. We have four regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sexual affair. So, all these things are, um, we start following. So, it becomes like a little bit like because we have Shraddha, we have faith that this is going to help me in my bhakti process. The gross sinful activities. What are the gross sinful activities? Jiva Goswami describes in Bhakti Sandarbha. Parapatni, looking at somebody's wife. Looking means desiring for someone else's wife or husband. Paradravya, desiring for someone else's wealth, property, desiring to obtain or taking. And parahimsa, doing violent activities to others. And these are very, very gross sinful activities. And we have also intoxication and gambling, gross sinful activities. So we avoid that and then we start performing this bhajana. Still, the anarthas are there because of my past sinful activities, but they are not so gross like whatever I have described now. Subtle level anarthas are there. We tend to carry on with that, and that affects our bhakti. So through the anishtita bhajana, this part affects the bhakti and then it drags me down. But through the process, you see that even in the anishta stage, it changes the color. And then it changes the color and then it goes and goes. It becomes white in the stage of nishta. So as soon as we attain the stage of nishta, almost like 95%, 97%, all these things are destroyed. Actually, no, sorry. This is actually fully destroyed. This is because it is white color. You see, this is a white color. It's fully destroyed. A little bit trace is there. So you can say 99.99% it is done. Little bit of trace is remaining. And that little bit trace gets carried over until the stage of asakti, deep attachment to the Lord. This is where you get deep attachment to the Lord. Until then, it is there, but it is very little trace. It doesn't matter to you, it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't disturb you. Therefore, it is the bhajana, the bhakti practice is nishta, study. Study means there are various types of steadiness. You can steadily chant every day, you can steadily do service every day. But in the steadiness we are talking about is steady enthusiasm along with the steadiness in practice bhakti. Every day when I am chanting uh, Harinam, I feel enthusiastic. I don't feel like when will I complete my rounds. Some days we may feel I want to just complete my rounds. Some days, oh, very nice taste is there. Let me just sit and properly. That happens in the anishtita stage. In the nishta stage, it doesn't happen like that. Because these anarthas from past pious and sinful activities, they are all destroyed here. 99.99%. The rest is just a small trace, it gets carried and then it gets destroyed in the stage of asakti. And in asakti, it is done. 101% done. There is no more. You don't carry anything beyond this. That is the anarthas arising from sinful activity and pious activities, past pious and sinful activity. So, because these anarthas are here, we may be committing some minor sinful things, part of which is enjoyment. Minor sinful, when I say that, not the gross sins that I described. Some violations are there, small minor things, but that gets destroyed through the process of anartha nivritti. The bhakti practice, the anarthas that arise from bhakti practice, that happens after the stage of shraddha. Why? Because before that, we don't even practice bhakti. So when the shraddha comes, we start sincerely practicing, and especially in the early stages, we get attached to all these respects, prestige. Somebody will come and say, "Oh, Prabhu, you did very fantastic service. You cleaned the kitchen very nicely. You are amazing," and we become attached to that. "Oh, Prabhu, you gave a nice lecture." We become attached to that. "Oh, Prabhu, your kirtana was so soul stirring." We become attached to that. "Oh, you are doing this nice management service. You are able to organize programs nicely." We become attached to that glorification and we look forward for that. So that happens in the beginning stages of Anishtita Bhajana, thick red. Then the person, when he studies about these anarthas in the Bhakti scriptures, like Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Sandarbhas, then he starts recognizing, okay, this is not good. This is a weed, that the glorification and the prestige that I get attracted to, that I should not get attached to. That's a weed. When you are growing plants in the garden, automatically the weeds will grow around it. So an expert gardener should identify what is a weed, what is a plant, because both of them look same, a weed and a plant. But he identifies the weeds and he takes out the weeds. If the weeds were continued to let grow, then they will choke the plant. The plant will not be able to get proper nourishment. So we should actively remove that. Remove that doesn't mean that somebody is glorifying us and then we go and tell that person, "Hey, don't glorify me. You are such a rascal." We don't say like that. Or when somebody else is glorifying us, we can pass on that glorification to our Guru Parampara in our mind. In our mind, just we think that this does not belong to me. This belongs to the Guru Janas who have helped me in progress in my bhakti, and Krishna and Mahaprabhu. They are glorifying them, they are not glorifying me. From that angle, when we look at it, we can reciprocate with the person who is trying to glorify. The person bring when a person is glorifying us for bhakti activity we have done, he is bringing a very nice red flower. We don't take that red flower and then put it down in our leg and then just crush it by showing them rude face. We take that flower, it's a very nice flower, we offer it to Krishna, we give to the Guru Parampara. That should be our attitude. So he starts recognizing it and then he starts avoiding it. But still, there is a shade here because there are subtle levels of glorifications and position, power, all these things will come. Earlier stages, in the stage of Anishtita, some are difficult to detect. So we should constantly sharpen our intelligence through the study of scriptures and contemplation to understand it properly, so that we will be able to remove the weeds. Then it becomes starts becoming whiter and white. By the stage of nishta, it becomes nicely white, 99.9% complete. There is this little bit of trace that will be carried forward until the stage of ruchi, which everything is destroyed, done. So these two anarthas are done by the stage of ruchi and asakti. There's no more. Most of them are done by the stage of nishta. These anarthas are gone. Then there is a third anartha which arises from committing offenses in the process of bhakti. And that, if you look at it, that takes very long time until we attain Bhagavan. It just continues. Such a big thing. So, therefore, we need to be very careful of this. Actually, in one sense, that if this anartha that is arising from offenses are not there hypothetically, we have 0% 0% anarthas. We have anarthas arising from offenses. These anarthas may be there. Anarthas from pious or sinful activity or bhakti practice can be there. But if this anartha arising from offenses are zero, if it is zero, what will happen? The stage from Shraddha to Prema will get collapsed. One time I chant Krishna, I'll be just increase in the process of bhakti. Immediately I will attain bhava and prema. One time, Krishna, that's it. All these anarthas quickly gets destroyed. This anarthas from sinful activity and pious and bhakti practice. It is because of the offenses that we are committing in the process of bhakti, or we have committed in the process previously. This whole stage, this gradation, gradual evolution happens because it blocks the effects of bhakti. Only one name of Krishna can give us prema. Just chanting only one name of Krishna. But even though the name has that power, and that is why it is glorified in the scriptures very nicely. The name just sitting at the tip of the tongue can just bring the person to the stage of bhava and prema. But because we commit offenses, we block the effects. Just like I go to a rich CEO or a rich person, a rich businessman who is very wealthy. He's the top-notch businessman and he has billions of dollars in bank account. For him to give $1 million would not be a problem at all. He would not even care. I mean, even if it will be a rounding error for him. So, however, if I go and offend that person, then he will not even give a single dollar to me. So, like that, when we commit offenses, aparads in the practice of bhakti, it delays the result. So, therefore, these stages become very, very clear. The more it becomes clear, which means from Shraddha to Anishta, it takes multiple lifetimes. From Anishta to Nishta, it takes another multiple lifetimes. From year to year, it takes. That means these offenses we are continuously committing, or we have committed grave offenses in the past. So, therefore, the stages are becoming wider and wider and wider and wider. So, therefore, this is the main thing that we need to take care. This offenses in the practice of bhakti, and more we reduce it. Past we cannot do anything about it. At least present we reduce it and we become aware of it. Then we avoid it. Then we can quickly progress in bhakti. So therefore we chant this 10 offenses every day while in the temple morning program we have the Sikshashtakam verses, and after that we recite these 10 offenses. Sometimes we do that a row like a autom mechanical way, but we should carefully understand it and try to avoid it. Offenses from this life or last, and what offenses? Yes, yeah. Offenses from this life or last life. Now we are getting into the detail. I just gave overview about this. We are getting into the details. What are these offenses? Okay. The offenses are of two types. One is seva aparad and another is nama aparad. Seva aparad. Seva aparad means when you are serving the deity in the temple or at home. We do sometimes offenses. For example, entering the temple with a shoe is an offense. You should put the shoes outside. When the Lord comes in a procession, sitting and watching is an offense. We should get up. Uh, so there are many offenses like that which are described in the next chapter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we will cover that. And those offenses are easy to avoid. Once you understand it, many of them can be easily avoided. So, and some of them, even if we commit it, there are some verses, if we recite it, Krishna will forgive. Easy to avoid. Seva aparads. Nama aparad, we have the 10 nama aparads. Sadhu Ninda, considering the demigods equal to Krishna, all these nama aparats, they are difficult to eliminate. So we need to be careful on that. And then the third thing, that which is not an offense is not, sometimes, we may think that if I don't perform all types of bhakti activities, then it is offense. For example, sometimes somebody will come and say, "Oh, Prabhu, you should perform preaching, otherwise, you will not perfect your life. Or you should uh, perform smaran, otherwise you will not perfect your life. Or you should perform book distribution, otherwise you will not perfect your life. Or you should perform cleaning the temple, otherwise you will not. Or you have to do deity worship, whatever. Uh, that's not an offense. We perform at least one type of bhakti every day. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Mandanam, any of the types, at least one every day we should perform without break. And in the age of Kali, Nama Sankirtan is the primary process which easily and quickly gives result. So we perform that along with any type of bhakti we perform every day. We perform Nama Sankirtan. Nama Sankirtan we can perform in the form of japa or loudly reciting, or together we can do all these things. So Nama, we chant Nama. Along with that, whatever service we like. The most likable service for us will give us quick result. I like to read Bhagavatam. That's very good. You can continuously read Bhagavatam again and again and again. Because you like that naturally, you perform it, you will perform with affection, love. When a bhakti activity is performed with affection and love, that gives quicker result. I love chanting. Good. We can perform. I love book distribution. Very good. I love preaching. Very good. If we have affection for something, we should perform that very nicely. That will give us quick result. So here we'll first look at the gradation, then we will go into the details of these offenses, how we can avoid, what exactly it is and all. Because once we avoid the offenses and properly everyday practice bhakti, then we can go through all these stages and attain perfection in life. Why do the tendencies to commit offenses remain even beyond anartha nivritti stage? So the offenses, if they are serious offenses, they will carry on. So here, though it shows a very long bar, if we stop performing offenses, it can stop in the stage of nishta also. But some offenses which we have committed, very grave offenses, they will have effect. So this whole bar is not showing that we'll have tendency to commit offenses. This bar is showing that the effect of the offenses that are there until the stage of prema. Grave offenses, it will give the effects until the stage of prema. Minor offenses, it will just get destroyed everything in Nishta only. Then after that, it will be quicker. If we don't have any offense, the progress will be very quick. And some offenses are there, okay, okay, okay. But very, very grave offenses, even goes beyond the stage of bhava. Bhava means we have attained love, we are able to see Krishna face to face. Even at that time, because of the past sinful activity I have committed, that will carry forward even beyond that. That will give me effect at that point also. So, what kind of effects the offenses will give? Uh, it will give me suffering, definitely. Committing offenses will give suffering. Along with that, it will also give me enjoyment in the material world, slackness in my bhakti, pride arising in one's bhakti execution. Like I perform bhakti very nicely. If I give a lecture, 1,000 people will listen. If I start performing kirtan, so many people will just fall for it. That pride will start arising in our heart. That is the effect of the offense. Or hypocrisy, crookedness will start showing up. Externally, I will behave like I'm very pure person. Internally, I'll be just um, filled with all kinds of nonsense. Faithlessness, suddenly in the Shastras. Oh, I don't have any faith. Maybe the Shastras are telling lies, or it is talking about something else. I'll have all sorts of doubts. Maybe Shastras were written by some false people in the past. Whatever it was like that. Very late also, it can happen. Even after Nishta, suddenly it can come because of the effect of offense. We see in the case of Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj, he attained the stage of bhava. He attained the stage of bhava means he is able to see the Lord. When he was worshipping the deity form, he sees the spiritual form of the Lord. And after that, he slackened in bhakti. He got affection toward deer. How can that happen? You are even in the nista stage. You are not, attached. You do not have attachment even to your own family members. Therefore, Bharata Maharaj was able to renounce everybody. He has renounced the whole palace, including his wife, children, which are very dear to the heart. That can happen even in the Nishta stage. People can renounce if required, or they can stay in the home and perform bhakti also. But they are not attached anymore. That happens in the stage of Nishta. But in the stage of Bhava, how did it become attached to a deer? Which is very, very surprising. Jiva Goswami says, it was because of a past offense he has committed. That past offense, grave offense, started showing it effect in the stage of bhava. We see this effect here. So therefore, the slackening in bhakti started happening for him. Then he became attached to the deer. Then he went through that process, which means he slackened his bhakti. He gave up his bhakti after attaining the stage of bhava. He gave up practicing bhakti completely. And then he died, and then he took the next birth as a deer. Then he recognized, I did a mistake. Then he became very serious. That the effect of offense was removed, and that effect of offense also gave a little bit low birth. Also, it was removed. Then he was able to practice it very seriously. He was quickly progressed to the stage of bhava because he already achieved that stage. Of course, Vishwanath Chakravarti gives another meaning to the story. We will not try to look into it now in this context. We can look at it in a different context. Okay, so there is some chat. Ultimately, to be allowed into Bhava stage, Krishna has to sanction it. So he decides when our hearts are purified enough to overcome our endless offenses. Yes, but we have to do our part. Please let me know if that is correct understanding. Sorry, I did not understand. What is that question? Maybe if you're free, you can clarify, Prabhu. Even if the sadhaka enunciates the name of Krishna without anarthas, can the Lord still not give prema? Is chanting the name without anarthas the only prerequisite to get prema? So, without offenses, the anarthas will be destroyed by bhakti. Without offenses, when we are doing bhakti, we should do without offenses. And if we did not have any past offense also, then we just chant only one time Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's Shuddha Nam. That will give you quickly the bhava. Or at least to the stage of Ashakti. You can say from there bhava is very quick. And then from bhava to prema, it's all with Krishna. All we need to do is do bhakti practice without committing offenses. Past offenses may be there. If we are not seeing the progress, if I'm not getting getting to the stage of bhava, that means I have committed offenses in the past. Therefore, it is blocking. Or I may be committing in the present also, because I may not be aware. There are many subtle things in the case of offenses, which we will be looking into in the coming sessions. So we should constantly deliberate on it and try to avoid it. Okay, so when they is falling from bhavas demonstrated by Bharata Maharaj, an exception for us to understand the risk. So Rupa Goswami later in the third chapter will clarify that the effect of offense carries forward in some cases. Yes, not a general case. It is not a general case, but in few cases it carries forward because of the seriousness of the offense. And what happens in that case, just like Bharata Maharaj, it can be the bhakti can be slackened, or your rasa can reduce. If I am in Madhurya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, or like that, Sakya rasa, which are elevated rasas, it can degrade to a lower rasa. Or it can become rasabas if the offense is quite heavy.
But I thought, Prabhu, I'm sorry to interrupt, but once you reach your actual rasa in the bhava stage, it's not really,
Changeable, except
yeah.
there's the only one exception. Rupa Goswami himself gives that, which is the offense, effect of the offense.
So then we should never say it's not changeable.
Yeah, in prema it is fixed completely. It never changes. In bhava there is this little bit exception is there that it can change.
That's horrible.
That is, it is.
I mean, that's like a ripoff.
So true.
All
Yeah.
right.
So when they say that we preserve our spiritual progress, if someone leaves their body at Nishta, say they pick up from that stage from next life. Yes, correct. So if you have completed until even Nishta stage, for example, from next life, you will quickly progress to Nishta within 1 year, 6 months. This is like that. So I was listening to His Holiness Bhanaswami Maharaj. How did he come to Krishna consciousness? So he was searching for spiritual life in Japan. And then he came across devotees who were distributing Back to God magazine. He just came with one time association and then he started quickly chanting 16 rounds. And then in 6 months, he met Srila Prabhupada. And then he dedicated his life. Prabhupada said, "You come with me." That's it. Huh? Because they have a lot of progress in their previous life. They were able to take it up very quickly. And we see in the case of even Radhanath Maharaj, who has written in his Journey Home book also, even before coming in touch with devotees, that the fire of spiritual life was burning because quite elevated in previous life, so that comes back quickly. Same with the Vaisheshika Prabhu also, we see that he renounces everything even before coming into touch with the devotees. So, quite progress previous life. So we continue from here. If we reach Nishta, even Anishtita Bhajana, if we are here somewhere, next life we may continue. We will continue from here. So we see some people very struggle a lot in the early stage. Some people very nicely progress. This is because of their previous practice. Sometimes it is also because of a devotee's mercy. If a prema bhakta who is in prema, if he chooses a person who is also a materialistic person, and then he thinks in his mind, I want to give mercy to this person, that person will quickly come to the stage of prema without practice anything. This is zoop, you'll go to the stage of prema. We see in the case of Mrigari, when Narada Muni met Mrigari, Mrigari was a hunter, was quite sinful person. But because Narada Muni, who is in the stage of prema, he met her and he wanted to give him his mercy. Now, that hunter, Mrigari, within 6 months, he attained the stage of bhava. He started showing all these symptoms of bhava within 6 months, quite short time. He progressed very quickly. That because of mercy. That is not because of practice. So you should, that is a rare case, the prema bhakta or bhava bhakta coming and giving mercy is very rare. The progress can happen very quickly without any sadhana. The general process for everyone is to practice bhakti sadhana. That is also good because it the practice it's more like mango. You take a mango, raw mango, and then you ripen it through sun naturally rather than putting stones and then the calcium stones and then making it ripe faster. Quality may not be so good, but the mango which naturally ripens, that's more sweeter. Okay, so what was the last point? How to mitigate those offenses? Yeah, these are next slides, which we will be discussing about what is that offense. We will be deliberating on these offenses for a little bit so that we properly understand it, we practice it nicely. Okay, so the offenses can start even before the stage of Shraddha. People, atheistic people, they commit offenses against the Lord or the devotees, whatever. They can do that. And when the offenses can be grave in two ways. It's very serious in two ways. One is the type of offense you are performing. For example, if I go and kill a Vaishnava, that is a very grave offense. And that will have a very serious effect. Or I may be doing small offense only, just disrespecting or not giving proper respect, but I may be doing to a prema bhakta who is very, very, very elevated. That is a great offense, very serious offense because of his elevated stage. We see in the case of Pusha, who is in the fourth canto described in the pastime of Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva was sitting in the assembly of Daksha, Pusha just laughed at Daksha scolding Lord Shiva, criticizing Lord Shiva. And just that laughing thing, it became a serious offense. His teeth was removed for quite a long time. The Shiva Ganas broke his teeth, even though he was a very exalted person. So the offenses, small offense to elevated Vaishnavas are serious, or grave offense to even normal devotees are also serious. So these offenses is very thick in the beginning, especially through the anishtita stage. The effects of these offenses. It's not. This is not showing that we will be committing offenses. No, this is showing the effects of the offenses. We may be committing offenses in the anishtita stage, very much possible because of lack of proper knowledge and lack of steadiness in the heart, purity in the heart. We may be committing offenses. These effects will be very, very thick. In the stage of Nishta, you see, it started becoming pale. Uh, so it is not fully white like these two things. Started changing its color, grade. So in the stage of Nishta, overall gets destroyed. Majority, you can say, like 75%, 80%, like that. Remaining 20% is there. Quite huge. His Nishta stage is quite very elevated. And then it continues through the stage of Ruchi also. You see, Ruchi, Asakti, and then it goes into the stage of Bhava. In the stage of Bhava, you have more or less like 95% offense effects are destroyed. If we did not perform any serious offenses, all of them gets destroyed in the stage of bhava. But if we have performed serious offenses, that continues that even beyond that stage of bhava. And in the stage of prema, all the offenses are removed. There is all the anarthas from the offenses. The effects of the offenses are all removed. Complete. Then prema arises. If one who has removed all the offenses, that person can chant the name of the Lord or remember the Lord at the time of death, not others. Even in the case of Bharata Maharaj, we see that he took the body of a deer. But in the body of the deer, he recognized he has committed, he has given up bhakti, and then he was continuing to practice, seriously. He went to the association of the sages in the in the deer form. He separated himself from his deer family, and he went to wherever the sages were staying, and he was staying there. But when the death arrived, he chanted a prayer. Bhagavatam tells that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on that, and then he clarifies. This prayer chanted in the body of deer by Bharat Maharaj, he did not chant at the end of his life, because there is one more birth waiting for him to perfect. That effects are still remaining. So, the next life, Jada Bharat, he became very serious, very severely he practiced it, detached from everything, tolerated every situation. He attained the stage of prema, and he was able to remember the Lord at the time of death. He was able to attain. Even if someone is forcefully reminded by constant chanting and kirtan around at them at the time of death, yeah, because death is quite a difficult process. We may not be conscious, first of all. Then people may be chanting, we may not be hearing, we will be unconscious also. Some people may externally look like unconscious, they may be remembering internally, but some people may not be remembering, because only in the stage of prema, we will be able to remember the Lord, not even in the bhava, during the time of death. And that stage of prema, all these anarthas are gone completely. Therefore, we are able to remember the Lord. Okay, so we will stop here. It's already 6:30. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Hare Krishna, Anandavalde Prabhu. Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam.
That was Prabhu.
So Prabhu, sometimes, we don't intentionally do any offenses to anyone, but, sometimes some people, they behave in such a way, and then you think about, about person in such a way, in your mind, something like that. Is it an offense, or how does it affect us?
Yeah, so this is we are discussing about the category of Vaishnava Aparad, and so we'll discuss about this in detail in next session. That is the first offense that we are going to discuss about it. But just to give a pinpointed answer to that, if that other person is a devotee, nicely practicing, then if we hate them in our mind, yes, that will also have effect. But it is because in the mind it will have little effect, but it will definitely have effect. Therefore, in the mind we glorify that person, and we have to tolerate. Therefore, we have this verse: Trinadapi sunichena taroriva sahishnuna manina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. We have to practice tolerance and humility in the Vaishnava association. Having said this, it's very easy to say, difficult to put it into practice for myself also. But that is what the recommendation of the acharyas and the scriptures.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Very well.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for joining, and we'll continue from next class. I may have discussed too much about anarthas, all these things. I am just a postman passing on the message from the acharyas. It's not like I have too many realizations about it. Whatever I have read, whatever I have heard, I'm just passing on like a postman. And please forgive me if I have audaciously spoken something. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribo.
Maybe a Vaishnava.
But